Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Adobe Live here on Behance with my best buddy, Tony Harmer. How are you doing, Tony?
Hello. All right. I've got a heavy cold, but I am fine.
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's good to be back with you again after our stream last week. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. And I don't know about you, because you're in Cambridgeshire, aren't you? It's beautiful in Cardiff today. So
if I had any daylight, I could probably agree with you. I can see through the tiny gaps in the blinds that it looks nice out there.
Oh, well, I hope it's lovely where all of you are in the UK today. We're chatting in Behance, and I'm very excited about Film Club today. I'm a little nervous as well, as I've seen some things in the green room. I've seen photos. I've seen my photo, so I'm a little bit worried about what you've got. You see this mischievous laugh of yours. What have you got in store for us today, Tony?
Well. You'll be pleased to know, Mads, that you do feature in this week's Film Club. So we've changed out Film Club. Was good fun last year. We did two. We did Dr. Woe, and we also did Totes Defective, a spoof of Doctor Who, of course, in the first form, and then True Detective in the second one. That was good fun.
Your opening credits were amazing, with the smoke and the heads and the cup of tea. Oh, it was really good.
That was good fun to do. Yeah. It was. So what we thought we'd do this year, because we planned already a couple. One of them is a much bigger project, and we'll be inviting somebody else, or we've already invited somebody else to join us at Film Club HQ for that one. But we'll get to that when we get to it, because it's a big one. What we're going to do is we're going to reimagine some titles from popular media, okay, as if they were for Adobe Live. Does that make sense? So if we had to redo the titles for Adobe Live in a particular style, and the one we're going to do this week is based on the FX series Archer, which is on Netflix. Have you ever seen that?
I have
animated
indeed.
Series? Very inappropriate, all of those things. We'll be cutting all the inappropriate stuff out of it, of course. But if I just pop across here to The Art of the Title, which is a fantastic website for checking out titles from different pieces of content, movie content, and so on. Right, great place to look at it. We've got the Archer title sequence here. We can't play the audio from it because, well, you know, we can't. So I'm just going to play this here like so.
And there's no sound. That's normal, right?
That is not. We're not having any sound because we don't want to infringe anybody's rights. We're just going along. So it's sort of an homage to Saul Bass. This is, and with the dot is the thing that brings everything together. In here, you can see it's just going through, and it's giving a flavour of the characters, and that's pretty much it there. And then it falls away like so.
And this is not to be confused with the Archers, which is the radio soap. No, this is nothing to do with that. If any of you are listening.
Oh man, Maddie, challenge accepted. That would be so good, doing Adobe Live in the style of the Archers. What will be going on there, Tim? I've been down on my tractor.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Well, Tony, before we get started, we are going to be in Illustrator and in Animate today.
Yes,
so,
we are.
You know, if you have any questions as we go, get them into us in Behance. You know, so if you're watching on YouTube, come and join us in the chat. And Tony, I'm sure you're pleased to hear that the whole crew have assembled in the chat today. So we've got Andreas, Angus, Annika, Gareth here, Jelena as well, Jackie's here, Oliver, Sandrine, Sean, and Tim. So we're all here today. So nice. Yeah, any questions, let us know.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. Super good. Right. So the storyboards I have for this are so dreadful. I was going to put them in a PDF originally, but if I just show you set one from here for the storyboards, they are the worst storyboards I've ever drawn in my life. But I thought, you know what, they'll just do for me. So we're going to take it sequence by sequence. We don't have to build the whole thing in sequence, but we're just going to build out some of the assets today. So let me just go back to that footage and wind this back a little bit here. Okay, so this starts out with this clock coming in, and of course midday is the perfect time for Adobe Live, right? So that would be the time it stops for us as well, because Adobe Live, of course, always takes place at midday. And so we've got walking feet in the background, because originally this, although it's been reincarnated and changed around several times, Archer is essentially a spy spoof. Yeah, so we're going to just change out some of these technical diagrams that are meant to intimate some form of espionage with other things. We're going to use something else to put those in. But we're going to build out the clock, the dots in the clock there in the background, and the numbers. And in fact, one of the first things we need to do here is, I have no idea what typeface this is. I think I have something similar on my system. Oh, by the way, and the clock then morphs into a fighter plane. Well, we don't need a fighter plane on Adobe Live, so we're going to do something else with that. I think a pen tool would be a much better thing for us to have.
Nice.
So to try and match the font, one of the first things I'm going to do here is I'm going to go get a screenshot, okay, of this text. So I'm just going to drag here. This is just with my system. I'm going to drag across here. I'm going to make sure this goes to the clipboard, which it's going to. Okay, and then I'm going to capture that piece of footage. Now, Photoshop would probably be an advantage here. I know I could push something into Adobe Fonts, but on the browser I use at the moment, I'm not signed into that. So let's go ahead and create a new Photoshop document. And I'll go with the clipboard just there. Okay, and I might invert that. No real reason for that, other than I think it makes it easier for the system to read it. And I'm going to go to the type menu and come down to match font. Okay, and then just create a boundary around that text and let Sensei do its magic and see what it comes up with. I would also think that we could do an Adobe font whack as well. So if it doesn't come up with anything, we like win. I'm pretty sure. So it's come up with a few here. These appear to be ones that are already on my system. Actually, there's a few on here, but it's not quite getting it from there. So
it's called again. Custard. Sandrine says the font is called Custard. What a name for a font, though.
Custard.
Yeah.
Is it really? Let's have a dip into Adobe Fonts. Let me just get, bear with me just a second. I'm going to need to pull up a second browser.
Jackie,
four available.
Jackie put in the chat, Sandrine is quicker than Sensei.
Sandrine is Sensei. Okay, just bear with me a second. I'm just going to call that up and just make sure I'm signed into the right place, which I don't think I am. There we are. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and pop down onto this screen. Should be seeing that okay. Is that all good?
Yeah.
Perfect. So from here, actually, let's just try searching. Let's just try searching by that image again, just in case. Hold on. So I'm just going to pop out to Photoshop. I'm going to save this down onto my desktop, like so.
And I love the visual search. It's in stock, but it's in fonts as well. And the amount of times I've had to find something, I've been so lazy that I've just dragged it in and found it. It's so, I mean, it's the way forward.
I mean, right now, what I'm after doing is I'm actually after seeing if there's any difference between searching, given that Sandrine's found it already, any difference in searching here. I see, no, it didn't like that at all. Okay, so there's definitely no difference there. We need to zoom out a tad, I think, here. Interesting. Right, now look at that. They've got a massive and then a small interface. Custard.
So Sandrine said it's similar to Custard. It is.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Similar. Yeah, that's groovy.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. Okay, so let's view the family and see what we've got. I don't want the condensed one, so I'm just going to activate Custard regular. So that should be momentarily available for me. So that's grand. Thank you very much, fonts.adobe.com, for helping me out with that. And for Sandrine for just saving me a bit of time there as well. So I can quit out of Photoshop. Actually, I won't. I will. Yes, I will. Right. So come on. Right then. So Custard is what we're after. Let's just try typing something up with that in Illustrator. So let's make this nice and big so we can see
Dawn's just put fonts.sandrine.com.
Yeah, you see, that's not bad, actually. That's not bad at all. Now, I just want to quickly look as well and see what I had on here that I thought was similar to that. Bada boom is nothing like it. I thought I had something that was fairly similar. I've got lots of stuff in here. Custard is the one we're using at the moment. It might be activated on my other account, actually. But no, I think Custard is going to be the one that we're going to go with. I've got a lot of stuff on here, man. It's just crazy. Look at that.
There's lots. At Adobe, we had 100, I think it was access to 100 fonts as an employee. Yeah. And I downloaded so many packs of fonts. I think within my first, I think it was like, it became a bit of an addiction, actually. Like I absolutely love a good font pack. How weird does that sound?
Yeah, it does.
It's like, I'm like, oh, but look at this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll take me anywhere.
Now, one of the things here with this is that in the Archer titles, all of the names pretty much are in lowercase. Right now, I don't know why they made that decision. Let's just pop back to that just for a minute so you can see it here. Right. So this in fact is in mixed case, but if we go back to the names at the very beginning, you can see that the H there is uppercase, but it's kind of a mixed case along. And I suspect that's probably what we would call a hand-drawn font, meaning it's been generated specifically, for that title. But I think the main thing is that the dot pops into all of these different areas here, and having it lowercase makes it better. But we'll go and we might change it. We'll reserve the right to change it just a bit later on, but we'll do it Mimmo best. Why am I typing Mimmo best? There we are. So we've got the font we need. Happy days. Really good. Right. So let's do some drawing then. What I'm going to do is I've got a piece of footage from Adobe stock just here, which is actually almost exactly what I want. So here we are. This is this walk cycle. Okay.
This is cool.
It is, but it's not really Adobe Live cool. Yeah, it could be better. Right. So I'm going to redraw it. So I'm just going to find a frame that I want to use here. Something there, I think, is just perfect. And then because I've got QuickTime active here, in fact, if I just go ahead, it would be better if I actually launched it in QuickTime and then scrub to that point. There we go, round about there. I'm just going to copy, Command-C, and then I can quit QuickTime Player, make my way into Illustrator and just paste that down. So it just drops it down as an image that I can work with. I like to work with things that I'm going to overdraw on template layers. So I'm going to give myself a new layer beneath the current one. I'm going to drop that content down onto there. So I'm just using the proxy here to do that, and then just double click away, turn that into a template, and then I've got something that I can work over on this layer, which is good. So it's going to be a bit of overdrawing. I want to modify the footwear being used. Now, I did try it with some diving boots, from like a deep sea diver. I thought that would be really funny, but it just looked awkward.
Well, these don't look like Tim's feet right now. So
we don't know that with any certainty.
That's true. I've never met Tim in person.
I've only ever seen Tim photographed from the waist up. So, we don't know. They would have to be very, very strong heels and probably like a size 18. But there you go. But oh, lovely, Tim. Anyway, right. So I'm going to use the Curvature Pen tool for this. So Shift tilde on a British keyboard will get you, or an American keyboard will get you there. English keyboard would be an easier thing to say. And then I'm just going to determine a point at which I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to double click just there. And I'm going to make my way around, just clicking now with the Curvature Pen tool. In fact, we can zoom in and make life a little bit easier. Just there, I'm going to change direction just a bit. And I can correct any and all of this as I go along really easily. I didn't like this tool, you know, when it first appeared. I thought, why has that been introduced? But because I was going to have to teach it, I had to learn about it. I started using it. Now this is my default pen tool.
Oh, wow.
It's so, so good. Once you get used to using it, and I literally bang on about this all the time, about how good this tool is. And
so you've got and I always say Wacom, but it's Wacom.
Wacom.
So you've got your Wacom there as well, but you're not using that right now. You're going directly on the desktop version. Right?
I am using it, but I'm using a trackpad instead. Yeah. So
okay.
I'm drawing directly to the Wacom, but I'm just choosing to do it with points. I just want anchor points for this one. So
okay.
Yeah.
And hey, Tony, there's a lot of chat in the chat. So Tim recommended a font called Blackcurrant. And then a few people have commented to agree that that's actually a really good font for this. So, and Jackie's just commented as well, saying really like the black.
Yeah, do you know, I am certain I've got that somewhere. You know, it might be on the other machines just over there. I'm not going to dip across and check.
No,
but I'm certain I have something that's closer. Anyway, we'll find out in a moment. We'll go and have a look. We'll just get around this first, and then we'll go look. Groovy. Okay, so I only need to go up to the sort of knee area there. I'm going to double click at that point there.
And so what are you adding here? Like diver boots? No,
I'm not going to add diving, but I did think about adding diving boots in it. I tried it out when I did a pre-run. I tried it with diving boots, but it was just it just didn't look right. This didn't look right at all. But, you know, I mean, that would be fun. That would be much more Adobe Live, right? Well, certainly where I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Maybe not for the other hosts that are all grown-ups. But for me, yeah.
You know, Tim's just put in the chat, the Curvature Pen tool. That's where I draw the line. He's so good at one-liners.
We are so lucky to have Tim on our team.
Aren't we? He's amazing.
Do you know, I make my debut on the US streams this week. So I'm streaming on the US streams on Wednesday and Thursday.
That's so cool.
And in going through the technical setup with the US team over the last couple of weeks, they speak about Tim so highly.
Ah, that's lovely.
He's a complete legend.
He is.
And we love you, Tim.
Who's hosting you, Tony? Because I better warn them to wear waterproof mascara.
It's someone who knows me very, very, very well.
Is it Claudia?
It's Claudia, yeah.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
I love her. Yeah, we're friends. We message a lot, actually. I love it a bit. Oh, that's lovely. Well, you're in very good company then.
I am.
So,
in fact, it was Claudia that set the thing up.
Oh, perfect.
For me, so which is
you introduced me to her actually at Adobe Max all those years ago. We've become really good friends.
Yeah, no, she's been a student of mine.
Yeah.
And she came to one of my gigs, which I think it was at Hackney Picture House. I think I was doing a day-long all the apps thing, like I used to do. And she came along to one of those, and I happened to be. She lives in Manchester. I happened to be in Manchester. I'm not happy with that line just there. And she messaged me saying that she'd already told me that she was coming down to see it, and I said I am actually in Manchester. at the moment, so I'll be traveling there from Manchester, and she said, "Oh, we can meet up." So I told her what carriage I was in, and we met up and travelled together down there. And she spilt a glass of orange over my laptop, the one that I was going to be using for Fratelli.
No.
Yeah.
That is, oh my God.
Fortunately,
Panic stations.
Fortunately, not my first rodeo, right? So
yes,
I'm always wary on trains because people just come and sit down opposite you, right? And they've got coffee and they're just like boof with the newspaper. And so I had a bunch of napkins straight on it. And however, I did single her out in the audience and just said, by the way,
watch out.
There was an incident on the way here, which my laptop had a drink. And if anything goes wrong in today's presentation,
blame
it on this person. Claudia, would you stand up?
Oh, I bet she loved that.
She speaks fondly of it.
That's so funny.
Yes, no, she's a love. So I'm really looking forward to working with her on Wednesday and Thursday.
Oh, lovely. Well, say hello from me. Absolutely.
Yes, I will.
Please do.
But you know what? I'm going to smooth that out a little bit, I think. Let's just go with... That's not bad at all. Just there. Good. It just seems to be a bit of a... I'm not mad for that bump. And do you know what I am going to do? This is where I am going to use the Wacom. I'm going to switch to the pencil tool here.
Yeah.
And one of the things with the pencil tool, if I just double click on it in the toolbox, is you've got this fab option, which isn't on by default, right? The option key toggles to the smooth tool because there is in that family of tools. Now I've got more tools than most people have in here. Or than a lot of people have, not most, a lot, because I've got the Astute Graphics tools on here as well, but there is the smooth tool. I never use it because I just hold down the option key and just brush across. Can you see that? It's just completely smoothing out that curve there.
And Jane and Sean would like to know why you're not using trace image.
No, I could have done. I just didn't want to.
Well, there you go.
Just wanted to do it that way.
Fair enough.
Right, okay. So now I said I didn't want to do the regular shoes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just scale these points down here and then just round those off a little bit. So I've got that sort of nice shape around there. That's pretty good. Okay, and then I'm going to radiate this around a few ways. So I'm going to go to the Effect menu, Distort and Transform from there. Okay, and how many do I'm going to do? Let's do it by 7 degrees, just arbitrarily. Rotation from the bottom, right? That's the important bit I need to do just there. So set a point for that. And then start to generate some copies. Which again will be more copies than I actually need. There we go, but that's fine. I suppose if I went to 8, that would be nice and even. But I want to change the scale, however. So I'm just modeling the scale here, and I'm going to set this to random, and it's just going to change the gappage on there. It's annoying when it does that. Okay. All right, what I'll do is I'll do it a different way. I'll actually do it as a transformation. So let's just dial in 8 degrees here from the bottom. And then add in, we need to do that to make the copies. I'm going to blame this on my cold.
Oh, you feeling unwell?
Oh, man.
Sounds a little bit.
I've had a cold for like 5... Well, I haven't had the same cold.
Yeah.
I've had a series of colds for the last 5 weeks. But we've all got a real stinker at the moment.
Ah.
And...
hard, isn't it?
I mean, it's not like the worst thing in the world. Right. Okay, what I'm doing there is I'm hitting OK. I am going to expand that appearance, which gives me all of the shapes. Now let's just see if we can transform each on those, and let's just see if we can get some scaling going on. It's just, that's because it's a group. Let's just ungroup it.
These like pom-poms that are on the top of the
Yes.
Oh, but like elf boots almost.
Yeah.
Like it.
I've got another friend who wears boots with pom-poms on.
Love it.
Ah, that's sort of not working, so I'm going to do it yet another way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the warp tool. So I've got a warp tool just here, okay, that we can play with, and I'm just going to get in there and just bend this around just a little bit. I'm using a very, very big brush there. There we go, just to make that a bit more random and a bit more organic in appearance.
Okay.
It's kind of working. I think that's all right. That looks more pom-pom-like already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to use the Pathfinder to turn those into one shape. There we go. See, I think that works pretty well.
Cool.
That's in about the right place. Maybe. Yeah. What do you reckon?
Tim put in the chat, looks just like my shoes.
And mine, Tim, to be fair. There we go.
Shoe urchin is Sandrine's comment. That is it's very urchin.
It does look a bit like a sea urchin. And indeed, if you wish to interpret it that way, Sandrine, fill your boots.
Well,
totally can. Right, so
okay,
I'm going to save this one then as a leg. So it'd be a good idea for me to create a new folder. Film Club. Oops. Oh, well, I can change the title of that later on. Save this as leg, because we only need the one, because it's a silhouette. It doesn't really matter. You're just going to see the end result of it just there. That's really good. Okay. And oh man, I know why that's not saved. It's because of that little thing in there, I think.
Oh.
That
We're nearly halfway through, Tony. It's 27 minutes past.
I know.
Time is flying. Oh my.
Hang on. Let's try that again. Oh, I'm saving it as untitled one now. Fine.
Untitled one.
We'll deal with that. Let me just get rid of that folder. And let's open this up and we'll just rename it here. There we are. Done. Okay, so that's good. Right, moving on then. We need another file here to draw a couple more components, or one component particularly, because while I could draw this in Animate, I think this is going to be slightly better if I draw it, okay, here in Illustrator. So, and it's going to be a pen tool icon, because that's what we're going to use in place.
Instead of the rocket moving
in
up.
Place of the plane and all of that stuff. We don't want any of that business.
Love it.
So let's go ahead and bring that out. My typical mantra for things like this, Mads, as you doubtlessly well know, is that if you can get away with drawing just half of it, draw just half of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice. It's much easier to fix.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, if anyone has any questions or comments for Tony today, pop them in the chat and Behance. We're chatting them. So yeah, let us know.
Let's try converting that like so. That's pretty good. Okay, so I'm getting that shape. I have the bit on the side here, this piece, that is on purpose that it's like that. That works quite well, I think. So I'm going to select that and bring both of those things together. I'm then going to get the reflect tool. So I'm going to tap O on my keyboard for that. Option click on that top point from the bottom section. I want it to create me a vertically flipped copy. So I'm going to hold down Option and hit return. Okay, so I've got that. And let's just go ahead and join those together. And then we just need a small bit in the middle here, like so. Let's get those together. Punch that out. Yeah. What do you think?
Cool.
That works all right?
I do.
Yeah, I think that'll work. Do you know what I do think though? I do think that bottom section there is a bit narrow. So I'm just scaling that out. I've just selected those points here and using the scale tool to just scale those away. And I don't know if that needs anything else. I'm also thinking about this bit here. That might be a tad too small or too big. So I'm just going to get the lasso tool, rope those in. Let's just go ahead and just bring that down. That's better. Just there is good.
It's even better.
Yeah, I think so. And then we'll go ahead and align these. So I'm just going to align these to the right, and then on the other side here, align these to the left. Groovy. That works.
That does.
Good. I'm going to get rid of its current fill and swap over the fill that was previously the stroke. So just so you know, the way I did that, it had the default fill and stroke here, white fill, black stroke. So I hit, because the fill was in front, I hit the slash key on my keyboard to get rid of that fill, then Shift X to swap them over. Okay, so that way it's a quick way for me to get the shape I want like that. Good stuff.
Cool.
Right then, I'm going to copy that to the clipboard. I think I might need that. If not, I can always pop back here and we'll save it into that film club. We'll just call that pen tool there.
And we've got 3 sessions on film club this week, right? We've got today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And when are we going to see the finished result? Is it going to be on a Wednesday? Yeah.
Wednesday, yeah. So we've got Tim's got a segment, a small segment on the audio.
Yeah.
That he's working on or worked on for it and continues to work on. And then so there'll be a little bit more drawing tomorrow. And assembly. Then there'll be some more animation, a lot more animation on Wednesday. Wednesday will be mainly After Effects. It'll be all of that stuff and stitching it all together, making it happen. So let's pop. Say again.
I'm going to join on Wednesday. I want to see this come together.
You'll enjoy it. Well, I mean, we'll stick it on the host thing as well and on the Discord channel.
Oh, fab, yeah.
Yeah, we'll put that there. So here we are in Animate. If you have not visited Animate in a while, I strongly recommend that you do, because it is achieved a level of epicness that it hasn't had for quite a while, even in its former name, because of course it was Flash before that and all of that stuff. It's very, very cool. It's got a lot of cool stuff. There's plenty of great things going on. So I'm going to use a full HD preset just here, because that's what the project will be at. It's a 1080p project. And I'm going to do Command 2, which gets me to view the whole of the canvas. There's 3 commands, very easy. They all neighbor each other. Command 3 gets you to zoomed into an object. Command 2 gets you to see the whole thing, and Command 1 takes you to 100%. So there you go. It's like 3, 2, 1. Boof.
How does it go?
I'm not doing it again. Plus, I added in my own boof at the end. There we are. Right then. So, I don't know whether to give you a quick, very, very quick. Actually, do you know what? I will. I'll give you a very, very quick primer on how easy this is to work with. If I just paste down that content from here, right? So I get this dialogue when I paste things in, and it's just going to paste in using the Illustrator clipboard. If you get an error there, you need to go into Illustrator and just check the clipboard options match what Animate is expecting. But it brings it in like so. That's turned it into kind of a group. So I'm just going to use Command B here to break that apart. Okay, and you can see how different it looks already. Okay, it's got all of these dots all over it. Also, if I go near any of the edges, can you see the cursor changes?
Yeah,
That's because you can just deform like so. Ooh. This was built so that you could work quickly with frame by frame animation. Excuse me, just 1 second. So you could make minute adjustments as you worked. However, I want to animate this, so I'm going to turn it into a symbol. I can do that via my keyboard, F8. We'll do that. So if I just call this pen, like so, then it has now become a symbol which I can animate here, right? And you'll notice there's a small dot in the middle there. That's different to the way it was when it was pasted in, because that was just a group, right? This is now a symbol. Let's just take this over to this side of the canvas. And what I'm going to do is right click here at the beginning and choose Create Motion Tween. Okay, and this is what happens. The timeline gets this span. I can drag this out as much as I want it to be, and then put the playhead in different positions. And if I just move the pen around like so, okay, you can see that I'm getting a motion path emanating from it. And just like other things that use this mechanism, like After Effects, the dots that are on there represent the number of frames, okay, that are happening in between each interval. You can also move these around. This is one thing that's very, very different in Animate to other things, is it's really easy with just the same tool to work with that path. And if I just wind that back now,
that's cool.
You can see how that works. And I'll just hit return here to play that. There you go.
And Sandrine's asked the question that I asked in the green room earlier.
Yeah.
Because I was saying to you, are we doing this in After Effects or Animate? And you were like, Animate. And I was unsure as to why we would use this. So Sandrine would like to know, what's the difference? Like, what are the benefits or the advantages of doing this in Animate rather than After Effects?
Well, you're actually going to see some of the, I mean, this little bit here is just a tiny like micro primer, just so that you understand what Animate is, right? That it is an animation. Well, one of the aspects of Animate is that, as its name would imply, it's an animation tool. There are some things about working in Animate that are more intuitive for certain kinds of animation than After Effects is. Right, so there are some things you can do in here that maybe you can't do the same way in After Effects. So you're working with a bunch of different assets. Let me give you, or you're working with effects. I'm going to give you a for instance, and keeping with the current program as well. So I'm just going to do a whole bunch of undos here to go back to where I just had nothing on the canvas at all. Okay, so that's quite a few undos, more undos than I planned for. Okay, and I'm going to draw something. Okay, so what I'm going to draw is I think I'll do a rectangle here. Okay, so at the moment, this is going to have a black fill and a black stroke. I don't want a stroke on it, so I'm going to set that to none. Okay, I don't know why I keep getting that accessibility warning there about controlling the camera screen, because it should be authenticated. But anyway, I'm going to draw this, hold down Shift, as you do in many other drawing applications, and that draws you a shape. Selection tool V, just as it is in other applications, to do that. And then I want to transform it. Now, this is where it departs wildly from the others, because the shortcut for that is Q. Here, Q gets me the free transform tool. I will point out where the tools are. It's not essential for you to know all of the shortcuts. It just does make working with them much, much faster. And just like other applications, if you see a tool that has a small chip down in the corner of the icon, it means there are other tools there with it. And you can see this has a free transform tool and a gradient transform tool. And I've got to tell you, gradients in Animate are epic.
I love the gradients. You can get a mixture of a rainbow of colors across so many different things. I'm a big fan.
Mad stuff. And you can get all of these repeats and all of this madness. So good. I'm just going to align this to the stage. I keep saying canvas. Technically, it's stage, right? But anyway, there you go. That's aligned. I'm now going to switch tools. Okay, so I'm going to switch to my sub-selection tool. Okay, and grab the point at the top of that and move this upwards. Okay, like so. You can see that. I can just bend that around to where I want it to be, upwards like that. So that's kind of okay for where I want to be, I think.
And is this for the pen tool animation in the, you know, where it leaves the clock and it goes up?
What we're doing, yeah, what we're going to do is, in fact, I can show you the morph. We'll do the morph. We'll do that because we've got, what is it, 20 minutes left. So
yeah,
we'll do the morph. We'll get the bits in order to do the morph, so we can do all of that. Okay. So now, unfortunately, I forgot to constrain that point to the top there, and I don't want to redraw it. So what I'm going to do instead is just go along and just change some points here and then work on this a slightly different way. So if I go to my pen tool here and do the convert anchor point tool, go to that point and just bring that around so that it's rounded like so. I'll do the same thing at the bottom, just there like that. That's good. Then I'm going to get my selection tool. Now, for making shapes, right, just watch what I do here. Yeah, so I'm just going to start dragging here to create a marquee and just drag like that. And because this is a shape, it allows me to select just the things that are inside the shape. So I can delete that like so. Oh, I do want to square the top off of this in a minute, so I'll do that as well. But here, now I've got that shape, I'm going to hold down Alt or Option to drag a copy. Then I can go ahead and go to my transforms here and flip that horizontally like so.
Cool.
And then just bring that back. And as soon as I do that, watch what happens when I click on it. Automatically united.
Love it. Easy.
Very good. Tim and I ought to write a song about that. Right, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to zoom in. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to have to mute while I have a bit of a cough. Bear with me.
Oh, no worries. Well, I'll ask everybody if there are any questions for Tony, anything at all in Animate. If you've not used Animate before, any questions, pop them in the chat. We've still got like just over 15 minutes.
We're good.
So, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm doing something here. I've just taken the tip off of this shape. Yeah. Right. So I'm just going to come back out. Now, visually, you're probably not going to notice that too much. In fact, so I'm going to use the free transform tool here and just make this narrower because it doesn't really look like a hand from a clock. And now it does more so. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in back on the top here. Yeah, you can see that I've just taken that top away like that. Okay, good. I'm going to center this onto the stage again. Okay, because it will just be kind of handy for me to do that. And then I'm going to draw another shape here. Let me just change the fill color for that shape. Oops, a daisy. Hang on. There we go. And just draw a rectangle. Just a tiny rectangle, like so. Well, I've got a stroke on it, so double click the stroke, delete, stroke is gone. Don't need to know any wacky shortcuts for that or any of that sort of stuff. All good.
These are the bits of the clock, going around the edge, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here. Okay,
yeah, cool. Yeah. We're just doing the handles for the clock. Now I'm going to draw the clock face as well with the numbers on shortly. I'm just going to move this out to the side here so I can make this a bit longer. If I want to do it, you can see automatically it does it from the center outwards. If you hold down Alt or Option, then you can just do it in one single direction. There we go. And let's try and align that to the center of the stage as well. Okay, there we go. Good. All I need to do now is deselect that. Okay, and it's perhaps too high, so I'm just going to undo it just a second. We'll go with... And
can you do the same thing that you did with the pom-pom or the urchin from Illustrator before? You know how you did a rate, like a rate dial? You can do the same thing in Animate.
You can, you can do all of that good stuff in there. All I want to do here is, I'm just lining that up because I just want to put a nick in the top of that shape. So I'm just going to click away from it and click here and then delete. And can you see I've put that little nick in the top?
Yeah.
Right. Now you might be thinking, why has Tony done that? You're going to see in a minute. So I'll zoom back out. At the size that you're going to see it, that nick is not going to be apparent. Yeah.
Okay. So why have you done it?
Well, right. I'm going to go ahead here down on my timeline at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I want this to take place over a couple of seconds. Yeah. Actually, for the transformation, no, we'll do it over 1.5. So I'm going to go 30 frames per second. That's my frame rate. You can see that here on the right-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go to 45 just there. And I could right-click and do insert frame, but I tend to use the F keys on my machine to do that because it's just like reach forward, bang, F, and so on. Key. Yeah. And actually, I inserted frame there. I'm going to undo that. I want a keyframe, so I will do that by the keyboard anyway. Okay, which is F6 to do that. So keyframes are a change in a state. Yeah. If we were animating my hand going from there to there, we'd do those 2 stages, and everything else that happens is an in-between from there. So when you're a key animator, you just draw the key stages, and then you hand that over to tweeners, and they just do the rest. Or these days, you just get the computer to do it. Right, so I can delete that shape from there pretty much in a minute. So, but what I'm going to do is leave it as a point of reference. I'm just going to group it because that will stop me being able to accidentally interact with it. Then I'm going to paste down that pen tool. And I'm just going to bring that up like so to about that point there. Okay, that's good. I'm going to get the shape from behind and delete it because I just want the pen tool on this particular frame. Now something else is going on in the timeline, but we'll deal with that in a second. I just want to expand this to being a shape. Once I've done that, okay, I can cut that to the clipboard. So it's now technically a different piece of stuff on there. I'm going to get rid of the additional layer. So I'll just delete that layer.
So I thought that your clock dial was layer 1 and that your pen was layer 2, but that is not what's happening.
No. I'm just drawing the needle at the moment.
Okay. All right.
Just drawing the needle. Okay. So I'm going to paste this down in place. So Shift Command V puts that in the right place. So between frame 1, okay, and frame 44, we've got the needle at the moment. And then at frame 45, it suddenly goes, hi, I'm a pen shaped thing.
I'm with you. Okay.
And what we want to do is we want to morph these from one to the other. So we go to frame 1, where we wish the process to start. We right click on it and we choose Create Shape Tween. Okay. Now, if it understands you correctly, in order for it to understand you correctly, you've got to have content in the 2 keyframes that it's going to tween in between. And you will know if it's done it correctly because you'll get a solid line here in the timeline between the 2. Okay, and it points towards the other keyframe. If I just go ahead now and drag the playhead forward, you can see that the shape gets bent and ends up at that point as a pen tool.
That is so cool. What did you click on? So you right clicked and what was it? Shape tween.
Create shape tween. Yeah.
What?
But it's got to be drawn elements on both ends.
Shape tween. Okay, so all I have to do then is upload. Does it have to be shapes or symbols?
Shapes.
Can it be symbols or no?
No, they've got to be shapes because it's actually going to change the geometry. However, right.
This is so cool.
Well, let's be a little bit more critical of it. Remember, because this is Adobe Live, right? It's not like some circus show. Let's just have a quick look at it. It's not like
it's magic, though. Like honestly,
as you know, when you work at Adobe, you go to look at all the things on the wall that say "good enough is not enough." So there we are. Right, but I don't work there anymore, so good enough is just fine. We'll leave it at that. No, I'm kidding. Right. Let's have a look at that. Right, let's have a look at that metamorphosis occurring. Now, look at that. It sort of turns into something that's a bit flame-shaped.
Yeah.
And then that turns over and becomes that. And I'm just not mad for that tween. So how can I work with it? What can I do to change that? Well, fortunately, quite a lot, as it happens. I can give Animate a clue as to which bits match with which bits, if that makes any sense. So right at the beginning here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something called a shape hint, okay, which has a shortcut, Shift Command H. Otherwise, you can go to the Insert menu and you can add a shape hint. I think it's from Insert or Modify. I can't remember now. Shape. There you go. Add shape hint. It's in the Modify menu. This is how far away I am from menus. It's like, right. And I get this marker A, and I'm going to drag that marker A, okay, to that curve there. It doesn't have to be right on the geometry. Yeah. It sometimes helps if it is. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be.
Right.
Now I'm going to go up to the other end. Okay, there's my marker on this end, and I'm going to drag that down to this point here. So I'm now saying that particular point, that's where it should be. And so it will start to change the way that it's drawn. Now already you'll see there's a slight difference there.
That looks much better.
It does look much better. And that's why I added the nicks at the top. So I'm going to add, in fact, I'm going to add 3 more shape hints. I'm going to add one just here. They don't show up in the animation. They are in this interface only. So I'm going to add 3 more. I'm going to take this one up to the top, but not pin it to anything. Okay, and I'm going to do the same just here, and you'll see why in just a second. Okay, then I'm going to get my zoom tool and zoom in on that. And then I'm going to pin this. Let's just zoom in just a bit more. I'm going to pin these two to the tops just there of that little nick I made. Right, cool. Giving it a bit more of a clue. I'm going to go up to the other end of the animation. Now I need to zoom out again because all of my points are here. And what you have to look out for is the letter that's on top. So I went A, B, C, D. Yeah, the order in which I did it. So I started on the left here, A, went across to the right, B, then C, then D. It's important that you observe that those letters are there. So D actually goes up here. C goes up here. And you can see they've been added in the order, stacked in the order in which they were created. And that goes here. Now let's go back to the very beginning and wind forward. And now see the difference that's made.
That's amazing.
It's good, right?
So how else can we use this? Right. So I'm looking at this now thinking, right, I create a lot of enablement videos, that kind of thing. I could morph text as long as I've saved each letter as a, as a, what's it called? As a shape.
As a shape, yeah. Yeah, well, you can, you've got a text tool here inside of Animate. So you can just go ahead and, if you want to do something with text, you can go ahead and do that.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is very good. Jane agrees, and so does Oliver. Oliver says way better, and Jane is like, that is so good. Yep. Sandrine has got ideas now, kinetic typography ideas. Yep. Yes.
Yep, all of that good stuff. It's and it's been around for this functionality has actually been around for a long time. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but I was Macromedia before Adobe. So this is actually the first, when it was Flash, this was the first product in which I certified.
No way. Followed
afterwards by Photoshop when I started moving across. But anyway, that just, so it's not new, but it's just so epic. Now here's the thing. I'm going to save this document into my Film Club Archer folder. And I'm just going to call this one Morph here because I'll be building out some of this later on, right? So I'm just going to call that one Morph, just so you can see how easy it is to bring this into After Effects. Yeah, so I think I've got After Effects running. I haven't, so let's just get that launched now. Okay, but that's a shape tween. So all I need to do is to introduce this as a symbol, which I can then rotate and then have it swap across to being the morph for it to change. I've now got that animation. If I go ahead and create a new project here in After Effects and just double click inside the project panel to start importing. If I go to Film Club Archer, there's my morph FLA file. Yeah. Okay. It's still got the old extension that it had from Flash before. That's just unfortunate, but it is what it is for a number of reasons. Okay, so morph FLA just there. I've got a recovery file as well. I don't need to click anything or do anything. If I just hit open, it will convert it. Okay, I'm not bringing in any audio, so I'm just going to hit OK. And you'll see now I get a composition in the timeline along with a folder, okay, that has that layer in as a flash asset. Okay, that's what SWF is, shockwave flash. If I double click on the morph composition here, if I just want to use the comp, which I will when I'm building out the final thing, I'll just drag morph in, yeah, and use it from there. But here goes. Right, so you can see I've got layer 1 just there. If I'd given it another name, then it would have that name. And now I've got that in After Effects.
Love it. Do you know, I was thinking if you're doing 36 days of type,
yeah,
then at the end of the end of it all, you could actually get it in anime and morph every letter into each other to kind of have a show reel of all of your letters.
You could absolutely. Cool. I mean, the sky's the limit. You've got. You've got in what you have in the tool set that you get with Creative Cloud, you've got so much power.
Yeah, you do.
What people need to remember is that these are exactly the same tools that high-end studios are using. Hollywood use these tools.
Yeah.
It's not like they're on a budget wannabes. They are, there are other tools as well. We know this, right? But they're not budget wannabes. They're things that are actually used. You get stuff like this used in Deadpool. You get all sorts from there. But there you go. That's how it is. You can see I've got a transparent file there. I haven't got any background to worry about. And unlike using the morph effect in After Effects, I don't have to go in, add in an effect and manage that effect. I can just go back to animate if I need to, make any changes. It's nice and easy to do. So pretty much, because I know we're at like 4 minutes. We're not far off being done for today. Getting that part in just there. We'll just go back to looking at the clock face and trying for blackcurrant as well, I think, for the type. And then tomorrow, loads more building and then some more animation. And then Wednesday, it's all the animations and all the stitches together. Plus the drawing of the silhouettes as well.
And so let me just anybody, oh, sorry, Tony, I was going to say, for anyone that joined us late, this week is all about Film Club, where Tony is working with different hosts this week. So there's 3 sessions to recreate the opening titles in the theme of another movie or series. And so this is really based on Archer. And oh gosh, what are you doing?
Well, I thought, we could draw the clock face.
A very smiling face. Oh, gosh.
So you'll notice that one of the things introducing the characters and the cast and characters of this is that they have this silhouette look. Yeah, like I said, it's the whole Saul Bass thing with the dot. You can see the dot there matching into the pearl necklace there and the name and all of that stuff. And then you've got things here like, the phone and the camera, all of that stuff going on. So they're all in silhouette form. Some of them move, some of them do not. Right, the dot works for it. So this one here does move, but the Judy Greer one doesn't, for example. Okay, so all I need to do is to make some silhouettes. The great news is here I've got a few different tools with which I could do this with. I'm just going to add another template layer. Okay, and I've got kind of a system for doing that, really, to drop that in. Like so.
So it'll all be silhouettes. You just draw around it on your Wacom?
Yes, and on the Wacom. I'm drawing on the Wacom now, and I've got the blob brush active because that allows me to draw compound paths. So I can just get in and draw around that. It only needs to be loose because it'd be like on screen for just 4 or 5 seconds. But I should have switched and drawn left-handed on here. Easier to go around.
I can't wait to see how this is going to look. And you're going to get all of the hosts involved, right? So it's
all of the UK hosts for this one. But of course, you know that our German fam and our French fam, they're going to want some of that action. So it's going to end up being,
Yeah, of course.
Different thing. Right. That's a compound path, right? It's not a path. Mm-hmm. So I can double click on it. I can click on the inner path there and delete it. And there you go. Boom, boom. I've got a shape. Switch to the eraser tool, Shift E to do that. Hold down Alt or Option to go into area mode. And then just trim away the stuff that I don't want. And that's it. And in fact, if I save this one as hosts, because I'm going to need each one as a layer, not horses. I refer to my earlier statement. I've got a cold.
Yeah, you can use that this week.
No, I don't go in for that sort of thing, really. But anyway, moving on.
No.
And there we are. We're at 1. I hope you've enjoyed that.
It's been really good. That moment earlier with the shape tween, never seen it before. And
Wow.
I've never seen it so smooth, actually, a transition from one shape to another. So I wrote all of that down. I hope everyone else did. I'll probably have to watch this back when I come to using it myself. But there's so many ways, right? That we can use it. But it's been lovely, as always, Tony. I hope you feel better for the rest of your streams.
Thank you.
You're just streaming all week.
All week.
I really hope you feel better. And I'm going to dial in. I don't think I'll be able to get in tomorrow, but Wednesday, I'll definitely dial back in, as I really want to see the progress. And
come and harass me in the chat.
Oh, always. I love to do that.
Epic.
So, well, hey, everybody. Thank you for joining. I hope you have a lovely Monday. I hope the sun's shining wherever you are. And we'll see you back here on Behance tomorrow at the same time at midday. Bye, everybody.
Toodles. Bye-bye.